All right, welcome back to another episode of Lone Star College Football. I'm Christian, and this is Logan. Today, we're going to be talking about what we need from our teams to have a successful season. Now, for success, I'm not talking national championships. Really, I'm not even necessarily saying a Big 12 championship. I just think this is like the bare minimum that Texas's offense and defense has to do to have a successful season. um, with that being said, we'll just go ahead and hop right into the offense. I think Quinn Ewers, with him being our starter, I think that opens up our offense just a little bit. Last year, Hudson Card's accuracy was an issue. Coach Sark had a press conference yesterday, might have been today. I think it was today, and he said that Quinn Ewers' accuracy is one of the things that he's the most happy with, which is great because accuracy is really one of those things you can't teach fully. You
Mm.
can teach some. You can do arm motions and how to swing your hips when you're throwing the ball to improve accuracy a little bit. But if you're just not accurate, you're just not accurate. So with that, I put on him 2,500 yards, which doesn't sound like a whole lot because it's really not. Casey Thompson, I think last year had about 2,100 yards. So I'm only asking for 400 more. And considering Casey Thompson didn't start every game or play all four quarters of every game, I really don't feel like that's asking too terribly much. I put 25 touchdowns. Casey Thompson, I believe, ended last season with 26. So I'm the bare minimum is less than what we had last year from the quarterback. Um, Partial reason for that is Bijan. I think Bijan's going to have a big season, and we have such a deep running back room. I can see us getting in the red zone and just let Bijan have it, let Roshan have it, let Keelan Robinson have it. So I don't think we're asking for Quinn Ewers to come out and be uh, Vince Young and Colt McCoy and put the team on their back, or Sam Ellinger even put his team on the back all the time in one game doing that. Uh,
Yeah, I don't think y'all need too much from Quinn as much as a lot of people think that he'll come in and get.
yeah,
It'd be nice to obviously get the numbers that everybody wants him to have, everything he's hyped up for, but a lot of people are I feel like a lot of people forget that y'all have a crazy stacked running back room. Like
yeah,
it's crazy.
we got to lean on that for sure, for sure. I put at the completion percentage. I put it doesn't have to be over 65%. 65% is pretty good. It's not great. It's not game shattering. It's not Heisman numbers. But if it's at 63 to 65, I think that gives us a season where he's accurate enough with the ball to get Xavier Worthy and Jordan Whittington the ball. And I think that's good enough. Like I said, these are the minimum things that we need for our teams to be successful. Uh, I put less than 12 turnovers. Now, 12 is a big number for turnovers.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people are hearing that and saying, "Wow, Christian, 12? Man, that he didn't play his senior year of college ball. He went to Ohio State. I don't think he even threw a pass at Ohio
No.
State. It's kind of I think it's kind of unfair to expect him to not turn the ball over, and that's 12 turnovers. So that includes fumbles. I think if he can average less than one turnover a game as a redshirt freshman quarterback in a Power Five conference, I think that puts him in a position where he can be a good enough quarterback and help the team and not be detrimental and putting our defense in bad situations where they have to really step up.
I think that's a pretty good number actually because I think Big 12 defenses, especially secondaries, are starting to get to
Yeah,
where they're more athletic and they're pretty good. Like most of these kids, they come out playing both sides of the ball in high school.
yeah, yeah. That's true. That is true. I wasn't even really taking into consideration the Big 12 defenses are stepping it up. It was really just he's a redshirt freshman. Give the kid a break.
Yeah,
With Bijan, for our running, I didn't really do a running back room. I just kind of did Bijan, and that's why some of his numbers will be low. Um, is because I expect him to have these rough numbers. but I fully expect Roshan Johnson and Keelan Robinson right behind him to put up some decent stats, especially for a second and third string running back. For Bijan, I put over 1,000 rushing yards. Sarkisian, as a head coach, has never had a season where his starting running back did not break 1,000 rushing yards. So I don't think, yeah. So I really don't. There's no way he doesn't reach that 1,000 landmark unless of an injury, which we can't predict injuries. So as far as when I do these, I'm thinking of a healthy season. That's what we're praying
Oh
for.
yeah, always.
Yeah, I put 12 touchdowns for Bijan. I couldn't exactly tell you how many he had last year. Like I said, some of these numbers are low because when we get in the red zone, we like to use
True.
Roshan in the Wildcat. So if we didn't have the depth at running back room, I'd have put 20 for Bijan. Like we just hand him the ball every time we get down there. But
Oh yeah.
we're gonna
Sees you in the 5 yards, bang out.
yeah, we're gonna spread this around in the running back room. 250 receiving yards. Um, Bijan, he is a receiving back. I wouldn't say we utilize him as a receiving back as much as I would like, but he can do it. I can tell you some of my favorite plays that I've seen Texas run is when Bijan runs a wheel route. I've seen it. I've seen him score on it. Feels like every time they run a wheel route with Bijan, it's a touchdown. So that's what we're hoping for. About 250 there. Less than 2 turnovers. Bijan is not really the running back to put the ball on the ground. So if he just keeps that up,
Which is a great thing.
yeah, that's a winning stat right there. So if he can keep that up, I think we'll be good. I think that'll give our offense a really good chance. And lastly, the O line has to hold up. Uh, our offensive line last year was pretty atrocious. Um, and like we discussed a second ago, the Big 12's defenses are getting better. So that doesn't really bode well for us. We've got a couple guys coming in. We'll talk about them there in just a minute. So I'll hold off on that. But with our upperclassmen, we need I need leadership out of the upperclassmen. I need them to communicate, to tell the younger guys where to stand, what the pass pro is. Like we need that big time because that if the O line doesn't hold up, then the Quinn's and Bijan stats that I talked about, it puts it way harder for them to get where they need to go. So I'll
Yeah.
let you get into Baylor's offense.
I just want to touch on that last part about your linemen. The upperclassmen definitely need to be able to point out and tell them where they need to read for blitzes coming in, because if you get any kind of stunt on those younger guys at the high school level, it might have been easier for them to pick up on, but college level, everything's happened so much faster, and it's just bang bang, stunts are here and there, and it can be bad for those underclassmen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think y'all's upperclassmen need to really be able to explain to them and get to them like in film study. Like, yeah, it, that can help you a lot. It can also hurt you a lot.
Make or break. I mean, the trenches are where games are won and lost. So
Oh yeah, but for Baylor, I put that Blake Shapen. I think if he could get 2,400 yards on the year, I think that'd be a pretty good number. Gary Bohannon ends up having 2,200, and that's with him missing those last 4 games. Um, I think that he'll be able to do it pretty easily. Man, I think he's just such a better passer than Gary Bohannon. Gary also had a lot more rushing yards than Blake Shapen's going to have,
hidden yard.
but I think that Blake Shapen will be able to get around if he needs to. But like, I don't know. I've seen some scary hits those last 2 games of the year. Oklahoma State game, I believe, is when he took a pretty big hit and he had to go out for a play or two, and it
Like
scared me
Chicken did.
bad. Yeah, it scared me bad.
Yeah.
Um, I think he'll be able to keep up the accuracy. I'm not seeing 70% or 72% like he ended with last year on those 4 or 5 games, but I think if he gets around like 65 to 67, I think we'll be fine over there. Um, I'm looking at 25 touchdowns out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's a really reachable number. Um, Especially as much as we pass the ball whenever we're in the red zone. I feel like we have a lot of tight end slants and digs and everything. I I, I think it'll be good. Now I see him getting less than 8 turnovers.
That's an 8.
less than 8. Last year, he played 5 games with, I think it was like 86 attempts with no turnovers
Yeah.
and 72% completion.
When
If
you're
he can
that,
just hold that,
yeah, when you're that accurate, I mean, it's hard for the defense to get their hands on the ball.
oh yeah, I'd rather you throw the ball in the dirt and
Yeah.
only put it to where your receiver can get it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's one thing I heard forever in high school, even as a receiver. If the ball touches your hands, that should be yours every time.
Oh,
Um, so going to running backs, I put Craig Williams, also known as Squirrel, and Tay McWilliams. I've really just combined theirs. So I don't know who the one is going to be,
mm,
but um I think they could get 2,100 combined rushing yards. I think that'd be good. Um, Abram Smith, Treston Ebner, they had 1,800 and 700 combined. Or no, Treston had
mm,
1,800 and Abram had 700. I think that if we can just get them to 2,100, I think that'd be great. Last year they had 200 yards combined on just 21 carries. So combined they averaged almost 10 yards per carry. And I think our offensive line is going to be better than what it was. Like we lost one of our upperclassmen, but I think that the other four are going to be able to step up and just come even harder than they were last year. I think 14 rushing yards this year, just between both of them. All my stats are going to be combined.
mm.
Excuse me. I think if we can just get 14 rushing yards or touchdowns out of them, I don't know what's going on, but I think if we can just get that out of them, I think that'd be great. Because I see a lot of big holes are going to be opening up, and they're just going to be able to take one cut, two cut, and go.
Yeah.
From everything I've seen out of them, like even looking back at high school film, they're quick. Like they make that
Yeah.
first and second.
Squirrel's quick. We watched that spring game together.
Yeah, the spring game was crazy,
Squirrel's quick.
and he's not afraid of hitting either.
Yeah.
That's another good thing. I think both of them will be able to come out of the backfield. We saw Squirrel in the spring game, uh, set up as a slot, taking end arounds, all kinds of stuff. Just he's a dude.
Yeah.
If he
Very.
stays healthy, it's going to be a good year for him.
You got any idea how big he is? He's not
I
like
think I saw that he was
small.
5'9",
Yeah, I was gonna say
like
he's not too
170
small.
something or 180.
He's a smaller guy. Hey man, sometimes them Devin Hester, them just small but fast, shifty. Sometimes those are the most explosive players on the field.
Oh yeah, and those are the ones that will scare you bad. Like if you see him go out from the running back over to the slot, you don't know what he's about to hit you with. He can hit you with that home run speed for a go. He can hit you with a quick slant or anything
Yeah.
at that point. Um, Between those two, I think 4 to 5 receiving touchdowns would be great. If we could get more, I'd take it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think if we can just get that out of them and have our underclassmen step up behind them, like there's a couple of running backs and receivers that are coming up that I think if they just take it up just a little bit, I think they'll be able to have a really good year this year. And that's pretty much all I have for our offense. It's just underclass, underclass, underclass. Those
Yeah.
the skill positions is what's going to kill us on offense this year if we don't have any underclassmen step up.
Yeah, it sounds like as far as our quarterbacks go, we're pretty similar in the same boat as far as yards and like a rough number on the completion percentage. I think you're right with a smaller turnover number. Um, just from I don't know when the last time I saw a freshman quarterback come out and throw the ball as accurate as Blake Shapen did. So I
Yeah, that was crazy.
yeah, I agree with having a lower turnover uh, number for him. And like I said on Texas, I put 12 because that's fumbles and picks. And I just with
Yeah,
our offensive line, I've got to imagine that there's at least a couple times where Quinn gets hit and drops the ball on the ground. So um, yeah, I think I like your numbers, and I think if Baylor hits those, there's really no reason if these two offensive can just hit those numbers, um, that we shouldn't see Texas and Baylor with 9-3 at the worst, kind of a season.
I think I think our defense needs to keep up the turnover ratio that we had last year because we were plus 12 on turnovers,
Yeah,
which is
y'all are
crazy.
high. Go ahead and give us your defensive one.
So my defense isn't as much. I feel like as much as we lost on defense, I think we'll have people that'll step up into those spots. The first one I put was Dylan Doyle. He's become a more vocal leader, and he needs to be able to not exactly be Terrell Bernard, but to be able to fill that leadership shoes and to be able to take over those extra tackles that Terrell took last year. He's
Yeah,
going to be on the field a lot more than what he was last year. Um, our secondary, we just need to find a group that meshes well together, that knows the coverages as well, and can talk to each other across the field no matter what's going on. We just need to be able to find a good rotation in our secondary that we can trust, and we're not worried about the deep ball like versus Texas. That's the main thing I am scared of whenever we play Texas is the deep ball. It's
yeah. I'll get into that when I get to my freshman standouts on that deep ball.
oh yeah. And then the last one I put was the trenches, like on both sides. This is where it's offense and defense. Our
Yeah.
D line, our offensive line, those guys just need to come in with the same mindset they had last year and just go. Like, just take over and bully this conference like they did last year. That's I think that's what we need from the trenches.
Yeah, I think if y'all I learned I mean I knew the trenches were important. I learned just how important they were when we went to Fayetteville and played Arkansas last year. And you just saw how big their O and D line were, and it's like, all right, well, we lost. Like we lost.
Oh yeah,
Well,
I did some digging on our offensive line, like some freshmen that we have, and we talked about some that y'all have recruited. We have one dude that's like 6'8", 315, and I'm like, dude, that
God,
is a that is a
that's
giant.
a dude right there. That's a man.
That is a freshman.
Golly. Well, all right, I'll hop into defense real quick. I don't have too terribly much. I didn't do any names. I just said this is what we had last year, and this is the kind of increase that we have to have. Last season we had 20 sacks in 12 games. We had 20 sacks. Our leading sack guy was a linebacker. I believe it was Ben Davis, transfer from Alabama, with 2.5 sacks. To have a leading person on the team with 2.5 sacks is just not good enough. It's just not going to get the job done. So I put on there that we need to increase that by at least 10 more sacks. I think if we have 30 sacks this season, those other 10, hopefully they can come in a good position where it's causes a 3-and-out or causes a team to kick a field goal when they might have scored a touchdown. I think just 10 more, getting the quarterback on the ground 10 more times can have a big enough turnover in a game to really give us a much better chance at finishing those games late in the fourth quarter, which we did not do last year.
Man, so I just wanted to look at our stats. I didn't want to say the wrong number. We had 42 sacks on the season.
Yeah, so y'all more than doubled us, and that's
Terrell Bernard, Terrell Bernard had 7.5.
yeah. So
That it's a crazy difference. It makes a big difference
and you
on the
see where
defensive
I
side.
told you yesterday we were like number 100 in defense in the country. So those are my sack numbers. Turnovers. Y'all's turnover margin was what'd you say it was plus 16?
Plus 12.
I think ours was like 3. And I
Yeah, I
honestly
think
don't
so.
remember if it was plus or minus. It was not good. When you get closer to 0, it's really kind of irrelevant if it's plus or minus.
Yeah, at that point.
I don't even know. Last year we had 7 interceptions and 3 forced fumbles. That's a total of 10 turnovers in 12 games. That's less than 1 turnover a game. Not good enough. So on mine, I put 10 interceptions and 5 forced fumbles or fumble recoveries rather. Forcing it don't do nothing
Mm-hmm.
if you don't get it. Um, 15 turnovers, still not an amazing defensive output at all. But once again, I think if we can get 5 more turnovers, that lead to some kind of points. When we lost so many games by one possession last year, one
Yeah.
more turnover in one of those games, that's a win. Uh, if we forced one more pick against Kansas, we don't have to go into overtime and we win. So that's where I am on our defense and what I think needs to occur for us to have um, just for us to be able to consider ourselves a competent defense. Uh,
Oh yeah.
that's we gotta have. It's just I cannot remember the last time I followed a team and the leading sack guy had 2.5.
That is
I
crazy.
would expect that from somebody who only played 5 or 6 games to have 2.5, not 12. Um,
Yeah.
so, do you have anything to add on that, or do you want to? We can go ahead and go into our underclass
I
stand.
just have one more stat. You
Yeah.
said that y'all had 7 interceptions last year.
Yes.
JT Woods finished with 6.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
It, but our defense was our secondary was a lot better than I like to give credit for last year. Because even like during whenever we were watching games, I was like, man, our secondary, every time. But whenever I go back and look at the stats, they were actually really good.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the underclassmen. We've got just about 9 minutes left on this timer. So underclass standouts. Real quick, I'll just name them off, and then we'll let you do Baylor, and we'll end it on that. Uh, we have heard a lot out of this camp about Brennan Thompson, but we've heard even more about
Mm-hmm.
Savion Red. Um, Savion Red is not the guy in the recruiting class that I would have expected to be the standout, but I've heard his name. It seems like every single time a player does a meets with the press or whatever, and they ask about standout freshmen, they always mention their names. That's great. We need receivers. Isaiah Nayor is hurt, praying for recoveries for him, but Ajay Hall is suspended. We're hoping Sark said he's doing what needs to be done to be able to rejoin the team as fast as possible. So that
That
sounds
would be
good,
good.
but we're going to need those guys. We're definitely going to need that depth there. On the offensive line, we knew we knew there was a really good chance we were going to start one true freshman offensive lineman. The same day Isaiah Nayor tore his ACL, Junior Angulau tore his ACL. So it's looking like we're going to have two true freshmen, one starting at, I think, left tackle and right guard. Left tackle is that's a tough position to
Yeah,
start, especially as a true freshman.
was,
I think it's going to be DJ Campbell at left tackle. So that goes into the offensive. What we need to happen, the O line needs to hold up. I need those upperclassmen to really get in there and tell those younger guys where to go and how to block. Um, One more thing that I was going to mention on Savion Red and Brennan Thompson, we talked about the straight speed for y'all's defensive backs to cover. Brennan Thompson is fast. I want to say he ran a 100-yard dash in 10.22 seconds, which I'm not a track
wow.
guy. And so I didn't know how fast that was. So I started looking into it. And Marquise Goodwin, who Marquise Goodwin or Marquise Lee? I always get them confused. Marquise Goodwin played for Texas. He ran Olympic track and he ran a 10.19. Now Usain Bolt runs like a 9.58 or something like that. So he's just stupid fast. But uh, a uh, a 10.22 as a senior in high school is ridiculous. So getting him just running straight is going to be big for us. Uh, I've got two more. One of them is Jatavion Sanders. Coach Sark
Mm-hmm.
said today that Jatavion Sanders has the best hands on the team. He's our tight end. He sat last year, so this year he's going to be. I think he redshirted, so he'll be a redshirt freshman. Tight end, best hands on the team, is big enough to block. He played defensive end in high school. I like that. I like the sound of that.
That
Honestly,
that could be nasty.
we should have probably moved him to defensive end because we need some help there as well. Uh, Finally, on the defensive side of the ball, Jalen Gilbo. He's a defensive back, plays the nickel position. For those who don't know, the nickel is essentially a defensive back who plays linebacker. You have four DBs. If you have a DB who's big enough, strong enough, can tackle well enough. You can drop him in the box, play him as a linebacker. Um, he's kind of like the slot corner. If you see a slot corner, that's pretty much the nickel
Mm-hmm.
position. Sark says he's practicing well. He won't be the starter, but he's pushing for game plan time. So that's good to be coming from a freshman.
That'll be really good.
We got just about a little over 5 minutes. I don't know if you have a timer. I've got a timer up here.
I can't see it on my side, but I'll try to zoom through these a little bit. Um, three offensive guys I'm really excited for is Kyle Roberts Day. Dude is from Missouri, 6'3", 270 pounds as a running back.
6'3", 270. Some
That's the dude I
Bettis.
was telling you about that he
Yeah,
played
yeah.
defensive tackle, or no, he's an edge rusher. He had 59 attempts for 628 yards.
Is that the one you sent me on Twitter?
Yes,
God, that's a big dude. That's a
yeah,
big dude.
averaged 10.6 yards per carry, dude, and 12 touchdowns just his senior year.
That's great. Yeah, that's
And that's only on 59 attempts. Like, in my notes, I put he's a great power back with good speed and agility. I saw a lot of broken tackles in his highlights, a lot of quick cuts and goes.
there's no way he can't block. He's too big. All you
Oh
got
yeah,
away. Just get
no way. And then we have two Texas receivers. Elijah Bean, he was a redshirt last year, 6'4", 220. He got on campus. He was 6'4", 185.
Oh wow, put on some good weight.
Yeah, yeah, about 35 pounds.
Able to
Um,
maintain.
I, I hope so.
So
Senior year high school ran an 11-second 100-meter dash. That's not nowhere near the 10.2, but to be 6'4", 220 pounds, like 190 in your senior year, and you're running an 11-second 100
Brennan's not that big, so I don't think he is that
is
big.
is good.
Yeah,
He's got pretty good hands. One thing that I noted that could be worked on was that he's more catching on his body than he is out in front. So he's getting it to where he'll catch it in his pads, and any receiver knows that's not good. I couldn't find any stats on him, but I think with him being that big of a frame and that quick, I think he has a very high ceiling.
yeah,
And then Armani Winfield. Everybody's hoping for Armani Winfield to be great. Sorry, Christian.
yeah.
Um,
I was hoping for him to be great in burnt orange. Just
he
for
is
reference,
six.
Brennan Thompson's 5'10", 165 compared to that guy. So that guy's big and he is trucking it.
Oh yeah. How much time do I got left?
Got 3 minutes.
Okay, I can touch on Armani a little
Yeah, go ahead.
bit, but he is 6'2", 205
Mm.
right now. Before he got on campus, he was 180, so he gained another
Yeah.
25 pounds
I hope our
just
guys
in a couple of
gain weight
weeks.
too. The weight I'm giving you is just off the 247, so I hope they're gaining weight.
Yeah, I got it off of ESPN, and then the before was on 247. So I'm sure they have. But just some things that I noted. He played in the Under Armour All American game. He's a ESPN top 300 receiver, so we're hoping he's going to be good. I couldn't find a 100-meter dash, but I did find that he ran a 23-second 200-meter. I ran the 200-meter in high school, and mine was like 29:30.
Yeah.
So he got me by a good bit. And man, these highlights, if you sit down and watch his huddle, he doesn't. He makes it look like he's playing against 3, 4A schools, but
Yeah.
he's at Louisville playing against these big 6A schools, and he's just babying them. It's crazy.
Mm.
Dude is quick off the line and home run speed. If you throw him that 50-50 ball and that corner is 2 steps behind him, he'll make it 10 yards. Dude
Yeah.
is gone. Senior year, 66 catches for 1,006 yards,
Dang.
eight touchdowns. Just
That's a
dude,
that's a lot.
yeah, 8 touchdowns. That's just the senior year. Dude, he finished. I couldn't find the total for his career touchdowns wise. Finished his high school career 194 catches for over 2,700 receiving yards.
Man, that's big for Chapin to have targets like that. That's gonna
Exactly.
fit him well.
And
Well,
that's not
we're
against 3A.
yeah, that's true. That's true. We're running out of
Yeah.
time here, so we're gonna end this one, and we're gonna come back with another video, hopefully tomorrow for y'all. Thank y'all for watching. If you made it this far, please like, comment, and subscribe. Give us a question. We'll try to answer those. You can follow him at L Patterson _3 on Twitter. You can follow me at Christian H _88, and you can follow our channel at Lone Star _CFB. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us today. And y'all have a blessed day.